My name is Eric McLeod.
And I'm Chris Holden.
And you are listening to LowBlowRadio podcast. It is Wednesday, September 16th. We just watched AEW Dynamite. And Chris, why don't we jump into a blow-by-blow here?
Let's do it. Dynamite starts off, JR, Tony, Excalibur doing the commentary.
Yes.
The trio, the triple threat that we love at ringside. We kicked off tonight, again, the hot tag opener as always, Jurassic Express. Tonight, taking on FTR, Cash and Dax in a non-title match with the stipulation somewhat thrown out there that should the Lucha Express, the Jurassic Express, manage to beat FTR, they will get a tag team shot at another date. But they got to beat them first. That's the way the champs are running the show now because they're in charge of the tag division because they're the champs now.
That's right. Their rules go.
So before we start the match, though, the Young Bucks come out. I'm wondering what they're going to say and what they might have to do with Jurassic Express. But instead of them, the Super Kick Party, and the only invite was referee Mike Posey. So I don't know if it's an invitation he wanted, but he got it. And he didn't get to referee the match after all. So the Bucks left.
A little unexpected, but...
We got our first shot of Tony Khan on camera as a character, officially, sitting backstage in their gorilla position, or I suppose, and they tossed some more money at him and said, "Here you go, Tony. Here's our new fine money." It was great. Thought it was great. And then as they're walking out past the Bucks asking, or FTR, sorry, so as the Bucks are walking past FTR, "How's that elite going, boys?" At least you picked on the biggest guy in the building. I love that line. That was great. No. And they left. So what did you think of that?
No, it was good. See, unexpected, the sort of turn on the ref or whatever. I thought it was just sort of, again, it's just this sort of leading down this more dark road for the Bucks and a little different route than everybody else. And, them just sort of tossing the money at Tony, definitely setting the tone for the new Bucks here. And we'll see what's next for them next time they hit the ring. Nothing's been announced for them for a bit here.
What do you think of Tony on camera in general?
I don't know. I struggle with that because it's like it's good in a sense to have the like authority figure, someone that's actually booking these matches, so that it's not just sort of up in the air and that kind of stuff. That there are repercussions for your actions when stuff like this does take place. There should be somebody put in that spot, but again, it just sort of has to have its time and place, and then try not to overdo it. So I think the fact they've held off almost this long, almost a whole year, not having him on screen is good. And the longer they can keep that up, the better. The more he's just mentioned off screen, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
same here. I don't want to see it become a McMahon-esque character.
No, for sure.
At the same time, I love that we've acknowledged there is somebody that's running the show aside from the boys. And they're making matches. So when they started saying, "Tony has told us booked for next week," that was several months ago that began. And that's been fine. There's much more sense and logic behind this than there is, what's his name? The guy that suddenly runs Raw now.
Oh, yes. Adam something,
Adam Pearson, Who even is the guy? That's where he came from, but now he's the authority on Raw. Anyway, getting way off topic here, sorry. We kicked off the action with Dax taking on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy seems to be the linchpin for this team as far as the actions based around him. He's going to carry much of the match.
Certainly, yeah.
Of course, to come in and kind of hot tag it up near the end and get his hot, giant lucha stuff in, which is a lot of what we got here. Start up with a lockup and an arm wringer by Dax. He tags out to Cash. Cash gets a nice arm wringer, tags back out to Dax. Dax with another arm wringer into a top wrist lock. But now Jungle Boy manages to flip a reversal onto that. Pulls a takedown, gets some chops in, some flips, a nice drop kick. Cash gets drop kicked as well. Jungle Boy gets holding Dax down, and he makes a tag. Dax also tags. So now we've got Cash versus Luchasaurus in the ring. For some reason, he tagged Jungle Boy back in. I think it was kind of a blind tag when Jungle Boy reached over. You're like, "No, silly, you just got out of there and got the guy in." They got together and they did a double team kind of thing. Dinosaur came behind, and that allowed. Actually, no, this was where FTR got the re-advantage because of that blind tag. It allowed Cash to get behind Luchasaurus, make the tag, and then there was a double whip and a clothesline. Dax took a knee though, they managed to make that into their kind of comeback. So there was a power slam and a 2 count broken up.
Right.
Slipped in the corner. Big slam for Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy with a big flip senton off of the big man. Back onto the arm locks again after that. So it was a lot of control, a lot more control, I think, than I expected to see early from Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Again, right? Week after week, we're seeing these kids show more than you would expect out of what is an opening tag team act.
Yes, and then even in your anticipation that they wouldn't get Luchasaurus in that early, or let Jungle Boy take most of the heat, but him getting out of a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think he would have, and outsmarting the FTR in certain matters. Just getting them over as a smarter, more well-rounded team week after week. I think, good progression for the Jurassic Express.
Jungle Boy chased Cash into the corner, managed to get a double Hurricanrana off of a throw. Those are some really strong legs he's got to be able to flip 2 men like that. Power slam on Jungle Boy, though, for a 2 count by Cash. His knees into the back, gets some knees into the ribs, hits a bow and arrow on Jungle Boy. Cash is in control, tags Dax back in. We're getting stomps, boots, kicks, a nice snap suplex by Dax into a leg drop for a 2 count. Another tag. Jungle Boy is tossed right onto Cash's knee by Dax. That's another 2 count off of their first kind of double team move at this point. An abdominal stretch in the corner, and he keeps leaning back, looking like he's going to get the extra leverage off of either his partner holding his hand or the ropes. It's great Healy moves like that really sets the tone for how FTR try to operate. Cut the ring off, make it a tag team match, use my partner as much as I'm using me. I love that heel kind of stuff. And again, throwback to the old age of Brainbusters, Demolition when they were heels. All the heel great teams did this same stuff.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy gets another arm drag in, but Cash is cutting off the ring. Very tag team style. Another double team move for a 2.5 count. Hop up and chop downs and tags. Cash stomping away. He went for the drop kick up against the ropes and deliberate miss attempt, but it looked nasty, I think on purpose, as he missed the drop kick and got himself snagged into the corner.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy is cut off, though, by Dax. And Jungle Boy hits a clothesline, though, and gets the hot tag finally. We get a clothesline, a slap, a chop, and a kick from the big man, and a double clothesline. And then he points to the camera, picks him up on his shoulders, but he's tossed at Cash. Sorry, picked Cash up onto his shoulders, tosses him onto Dax, picks up Cash for a big choke slam and a standing moonsault for a 2 count. He misses a launch into the corner, and FTR managed to tag, so we've got Dax up against Luchasaurus. Blind tag by Jungle Boy again. Keep yourself out of there, Perry. You just keep saving your own ass and then putting yourself back into the fire. Silly boy. 2, 3 big kicks onto FTR, though, by the 2 of them. A big shot by Jungle Boy into the back of Dax's head for a 2 count. That was nice. Counted a German suplex into a 2 count, which was also another one of those close near falls, really teasing. The week they get the surprise win, it's going to be a surprise, despite the fact I've been led to think it's coming weeks in a row. You remember Mikey Whipwreck way back in ECW's days?
Yeah.
It's of him or Tommy Dreamer to a degree, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's the climax is building here for sure.
Counted power slam for a 2 count. Jumping knee onto Cash makes the tag out. Nice crucifix for 2. Surprise roll up for 2. Dax is kneed into the in the skull, and Jungle Boy heads up to the top rope for a crossbody and a roll up for 2. Another 2 count. More stomps onto Luchasaurus, who starts Luchasaurusing up at this point. Meanwhile, there's a high stack roll up by Jungle Boy on Dax in the ring for another 2 count. Missed uppercut into a roll up again for 2. Jungle Boy hits a tope onto Cash. Dax is tossed into the ring, head into the turnbuckle, rolled up for 2. It's reversed this time with Cash's help on the outside, and he's going to hold his hands for him until he's going to hold his hands at the same time, and all 3 men together in a chain. That is enough to hold him down for 3. Jungle Boy, all the moves in the world can't beat him, but holding hands with someone on the outside.
It's all the leverage in the world. We all know wrestling.
Well, it's physically impossible, I think, if we all knew physics, right, as well as these guys did. I'm not a physics student, but I think it's true. So,
absolutely.
But Lucha Express are fucking good, man, and they can open any show I ran. Like, they know how to open a tag team match, open a show with a tag team match.
Yeah, no, I think hitting the nail on the head there with the evolution of Jurassic Express, not to put it, in the evolutionary terms there for the dinosaur-based team. But yeah, I think, and as well with FTR, they are this sort of throwback style, but I enjoy how well they work with a high-flying sort of comedic style team or whatever, not leaning into the comedy stylings, having more of the just the right timing and stuff like that for them to sell for the dinosaur, to get over how strong and durable and persistent the young little jungle boy is and that kind of stuff. So no, I think these two worked really well together. Nice to see them in this first sort of encounter, and excited for more matchups between these two down the road.
Yeah, anytime they want to have these guys doing the opening match on the show, no problem. They're just a really good tag team. They just know how to do tag team wrestling. They're fast. You've got the agility and the skill of Jungle Boy, and the agility and the size for Luchasaurus. It's a great mix. It's great chemistry. They work great together, and they work well with all of the teams we've seen them against them with so far.
Yeah, so, and we didn't need to see at least I don't need to see a defining tag team right now as the number one contenders. They can kind of move around and play with some other teams right now before someone sort of steps out amongst the pack, so to speak. So I'm okay with them sort of getting the win over them here for them to sort of progress later on.
I think it's a deliberate juggling act we see right now with FTR go up against a few different guys while Jericho and Hager take on team after team. But we're going to have to see these teams jockeying against each other to kind of keep position and keep in front of us on TV. We'll probably see SCU against somebody next week, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're doing a really good job of the way
the Dark Order's always in the mix.
We're not allowed to forget about anybody for too long, and nobody's allowed to slide too far back in the booking either, wins and losses wise, to become unimportant.
Yeah, it's just about finding their place and the build for some and the progression for others. So yeah, moving on in the night, we cut to a backstage segment. We see, unfortunately, Matt Hardy's been taken out on the floor. He's being checked by the private party.
Matt Hardy's always being taken out on the floor these days.
Unfortunately, it seems to be that way. We are seeing him laid out more than we're seeing him walking under his own volition there. But as the camera pulls out, we see that it's Jericho and Hager standing there with Floyd the Bat as they taunt and tease Matt Hardy as the private party are attending to him.
And what did you think of later in the night when JR suggested that, we didn't actually see who did it, and maybe private party did it?
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, that some people wanted to sort of...
If it's foreshadowing for the fact that is what happened down the road, okay, but it was bizarre, and I didn't expect to hear him say it and see that kind of direction coming. So,
and again, I'd be okay with it if this comes down to more of the bigger announcement team picture where there isn't a heel commentator who would bring something like that up, who would say, well, you never saw the Jericho and Hager with the attack them with the bat, like someone who would bring up that other point of view. So again, I can see where JR is trying to add that flavor to the commentary, but it does seem jarring and odd when it comes from JR, who wouldn't normally back Jericho in that sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely agree.
Then we moved into the second match of the evening.
Yes, before we got there, Kenny came out to join the commentary team. Speaking of the commentary team, grows with an extra number here for this match. Going into it, it was Frankie Kazarian taking on Hangman Page. Before the match starts, the commentators are talking with Kenny, and they sort of can't confirm or deny, but it seems that the allegations are that this was initially offered to the two of them as a tag team match, maybe as a comeback type deal. And it seemed like Kenny wanted nothing to do with that, and that this was Hangman's opportunity to show what he could do in the singles division. And Kenny was here to maybe not necessarily cheer him on, but to just sort of see what happens, I suppose, was more his kind of commentary as it sort of played out throughout this match. What did you make of that?
I thought it was fantastic. He definitely tried to make it. He made it very apparent right from the beginning. No. We were not going to have a reunion tag team. I'm a singles wrestler again now. I'm going down the singles path. And Hangman's going to go down the singles path, and let's see how he does here tonight. And if it was indicated that he was going to be there to be his cheerleader at all, every comment he made was either a snide, backhanded compliment in some way, or straight up, oh, here's where he's going to blow it because I'm not there to save the day for him.
Yeah.
Like I was in the tag team. The only reason he was ever a success. I mean, it was perfect. Again, so well done, so subtle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's just, these, again, subtle things happening with Kenny on the commentaries. You're hearing more as this match goes on. But we started up with the two of them, some pretty heavy lockups and scrambles, getting kind of knotted up into the ropes, fighting for position with each other. Kazarian hitting a really nice mat return, locking Hangman down on the ground, getting a cravat lock as they sort of got their way back up to their feet. Page managed to catch Kazarian up against the ropes, eventually getting them to the apron side, hitting him with a really big outside plancha to the outside from Page. Some chops and kicks and punches back and forth on the outside while they scrambled back in. This is where Kazarian sort of seemed to use his veteran advantage to sort of show that he had been scouting Hangman a little bit, catching him in these sort of opportunities. First with the it was first with the leg drop, and then he got him through the ropes again with the leg drop to really sort of cement the offense, leaning into Kazarian's favor here at that point. They fought a little bit back and forth for control, but yeah, at this point, Kazarian was sort of locking it in on Hangman. Tried a pin attempt early on. This is as they went into picture-in-picture with commercial, but it just wasn't enough. So he hammered on a headlock and just started working Page down that way. Page eventually making the comeback, hitting that really, really big clothesline to sort of remind Kazarian that he's definitely still in this fight, catching him as Kazarian went up top to try to slam Page, catching him though with the fall-away slam, leading into the shooting star press for the 2 count. Again, started the sort of back and forth between the two of them, though, because Kazarian was then able to turn the match over back for himself, catching he got round to the outside, up over the top ropes into the launching DDT for a near fall, also hit a reverse DDT for another near fall at that point. And again, the commentary, it was that stuff from Kenny where he was, saying, "Oh, this seems like Hangman's kind of running out of gas here. Thinks he's, maybe going to the well. Gonna have to find some new tools to dig out here." And then he did. He hit him with the kind of sliding lariat when he had got Kazarian back into the ring. His old Death Valley driver that he used to hit back in Ring of Honor. Really trying to pull out all the stops here against Kazarian. Kazarian, though, still in this fight as Hangman got to the outside, looking to kind of set up the buckshot lariat. He managed to reverse that into a slingshot cutter for another near fall. Kazarian looking really strong here in this matchup. At that point, though, Hangman was able to counter him into a power bomb, looking really good. And then he went to the outside again to try to set up for the buckshot, maybe taking a bit too much time to sort of set it up, though. Kazarian, well scouted here, going through the legs to pull Hangman off. The two of them kind of brawl on the apron, trying to get back in the ring. Kazarian kind of going for most of his apron maneuvers there, the leg drop, the cutter, all that kind of stuff. Hangman able to kick and push him off, get him back into the middle of the ring for the buckshot finish. And looking really strong, a solid 15-minute match here from these two, about 15 minutes. But yeah, really, really good singles match from Hangman that we haven't seen in a while. What did you make of this?
Yeah, for sure. The commentary sold it perfectly. Having Kenny there kept the story going as well. But we saw Hangman, every bit of the Hangman Page that was the first man to challenge for the AEW World title up against Jericho after winning the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
He is a singles wrestler. He's been a singles wrestler. He's just gotten used to and liked being in the tag team. But his best friend is stabbing him in the heart now. Won't be his friend anymore. Wouldn't even stick around to celebrate with him because Kenny was kind of pissed that Hangman won.
Yeah.
To me, So and Frankie Kazarian looked like $1 million, man. Like, I think Hangman's a great worker and can have a good match regardless, but stick him in there with someone like a Kazarian who, another one on that list that could have a good match with a broomstick. So
Yeah, no, I think showing his veteran stylings but really how strong he is as a singles competitor, not only as a tag competitor here in AEW.
The stuff on the apron they were doing combined between the beginning and the end of the end when they were teasing towards getting to the buckshot lariat finish, and then Kazarian hit some of those comeback spots, including that cutter where he flipped it. That was some great stuff. Like, it was really action packed, and Kazarian looked every bit like he could have won that match.
Oh yeah, his timing was just
that story instead. So it was, again, all the way through, not sure which way it was going to actually go, and yeah.
No, yeah, fantastic showing for Hangman there. And yes, as you said, it looked like Kenny was getting up. The commentators thought maybe he would head to the ring to congratulate him, but no, he headed right down the alleyway as Hangman kind of stood around looking for a friend or maybe somebody. But hey, I guess my only friend tonight is BEER, so he's going to crack another cold one. And
Dr. Jack Daniels.
The Hangman rides alone as he leaves, and yes, later on we got a little package for the parking lot brawl, which is going to be the main event tonight. I was surprised by that. But surprised, but also not. That feud has been building and boiling for quite a while, so it seems a good idea to lead into that matchup. But also with the announcement of a Jericho match, I kind of tend to lean that if you're not going to have a world title or a TNT title type matchup on the card, Jericho tends to main event. But I think this was a great spot for that and a nice kind of package to get you hyped up for it.
And typically I agree with you as well. I think just because it was Private Party they were fighting against, it just dropped to a little bit below that on the card.
Fair enough.
But I mean, again, and that's not really a setback to those guys. It's if anything kicks off the second hour. I don't know. I didn't hate, like you said, it's probably the hottest story of the storylines we have running right now that had a match behind it tonight. Since we don't have Moxley and Archer having their match tonight, this was the next biggest story that we've got going.
Right? Yeah, for sure. And if it's the blow off for it too, it was a good place to put it.
Sure, yeah.
To cap that off. But yeah, the next kind of match we sort of were teased with was MJF coming out to the ring right before they went to picture in picture. His opponent Sean Dean waiting for him in the ring. Bell rings, and what happened, Chris?
Yeah, I got to do the blow by blow for this, and again, like, action happens fast and furious, right? I can't keep up with everything.
I know.
This one, my hand struggled, but there was an arm poke into a Fujiwara armbar, and that was the end of the match. Yeah. Sean Dean submitted to the salt of the earth. Wardlaw tossed Dean out of the ring, and MJF grabbed the mic. And then I had to write down the promo because I thought, well, that was cheating. It's hard to think that was my match. So I pretty much tried to word for word the promo. I'm not going to read his fucking promo. If you heard the promo, you heard the promo. It was MJF, again, this stuff, back off of that campaign trail stuff. I like the campaign stuff, but I'm glad they ended it when they did because it had a shelf life, and they ran it dry. That was fine. So this was back to his stuff, right? So he's main point is you from now on, because Dictator John cheated in their match at the end of the day, which is undeniable. We all saw it. From now on, he is to be referred to as the undefeated, undisputed, uncrowned world champion of all elite wrestling. Jake Roberts, you schmuck, do it! And he made Jake Roberts stand up and say it. He said it. He started to say it with not much conviction. He corrected that moron Roberts and put him in his place and made him say it with heart and feeling. He didn't say it with as much feeling as he would introduce Edge, for example, or some other things we heard him
do. Or John Moxley, to mention a name. Yes, finally got a good call out from Justin Roberts there. And then the sort of tease that, maybe things here in AEW don't tend to play out well for singles individuals. You seem to only get advantage when you have a crew or a team around you, a stable, and as a lone wolf, maybe he needs his own wolf pack.
Woo! Yeah. Surprising choice of words. Steer the hell as far away from Wolfpack when you're talking about stables as you possibly can. Why don't you reference 3MP while you're at it?
Fair
Jabroni
enough.
group.
Not a Wolfpack fan over here. I've seen you in a Wolfpack shirt, have I not?
Me? No, fuck no. That's black and white, buddy. I'm Hollywood.
Oh.
We're lying.
Oh, fair. Oh, so sorry. Would want to
Red and
offend your
black.
NWO colors. My bad.
Damn right. Next up, we got Eddie Kingston and friends. Eddie only has 3 points tonight. Number one, he never lost that battle royal. He ain't lying. He did climb out himself under the top rope, between the second and top rope, and he climbed out, and he climbed up onto the top.
Right.
So when he was thrown off of the top rope, he had only gone out between the middle. He wasn't thrown over the top rope. So
Right.
he's not lying. I don't know what they're going to do about it. He's probably going to complain forever. I don't think they're restarting the match for him. Seidel's done with that match. I know that much. Number point two, we are family, a family of violence, the Agents of Chaos. Is that we're settling on the name Agents of Chaos?
Or Death Pentagon, they call them all kinds of different names.
You said that, you told me it was something different the other day. So when he didn't say that tonight, but he said family.
Well, I've never heard Eddie. Okay, so like he said, he hasn't called them a stable. They're a family or whatever, right? Other people have referred to them as like Excalibur, Tony have called them Death Pentagon. That's all I was saying.
Okay. Well, but for me, I would like to know though. I mean, if you're a family,
if they have a name or not.
Family name, like what's your family name then? Like, so and then number three, it's time for Blade to get his house in order, and I'm assuming this is in reference to Mrs. Blade, aka the Bunny.
Yes.
Right. I guess they're going to bring her home. So
I would imagine so, or figure out what she's doing with QT Marshall all this time, and maybe get a resolution to what's been going on there. Yeah, I've always
pretty clear what she's been doing with QT Marshall.
I guess that's fair, but no, I was always kind of curious what the point to all that was to begin with. So it seemed like it kind of just went dry, and they ignored it, and it was just sort of like, okay, these people are just separate. But if they're bringing it up here, they're obviously going to want to resolve this in some way, and that they're either feeling that there were some, breadcrumbs left there to sort of drum up some stories. So, yeah, we'll see what happens when they clean house for the Blade there.
I think so. I mean, do you remember when it all went, when they first introduced the three of them, the Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny came in? We talked, it was a lot of people that said online, it was very strange how after a couple of weeks, she was just suddenly, the Bunny was no longer the Bunny. And she's all of a sudden with Brandy a lot and with the family a lot. And that's evolved to the point that, forget all about it. Do you like the fact that we're revisiting this? Like, as far as story, do you think it's long-term storytelling, or, hey, let's go down this because we never did this?
I feel like it's like they're like catering to people complaining about it. Like, why didn't Allie get an explanation as to why her character's different? And I'm assuming it's just like they ran out of shit to do with the Bunny gimmick. It was an idea to bring when they brought them all in together, and then like the Butcher and the Blade don't really need a manager or a heel person to help them along the way. They're fine on their own. Well, what do we do with Allie? And they didn't really come up with a way to tell that story. Again, it was a lot of these things are all right at or before pre-COVID stuff too, so it wasn't like they were storylines they were trying to tell post. It could have been something they were initially trying to tell, and now they're coming back to. I personally would rather just ignore it, because it's been long enough now that the Allie thing, either she needs to reveal that on her own in the Nightmare Family, like her reasonings for all that kind of stuff, or we get it here, right? It's been this long-seated plan that I don't know. It really would have to have a real good point at this point if it was going to be this long-term booking. I'd rather see them not go down that road, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if this is something they had kind of pre-planned out versus something they just thought, hey, we didn't really cover this, right? That's something you could talk about, Eddie. Let's get this feud going, because that's a tag team and you guys are a tag team. That'll be some matches.
And if it's the sort of winkiness of Eddie Kingston where he's just trying to get them to like be angry and fight with each other more and that kind of stuff too, to just drum up more of a shit stirring kind of thing there. I could see it being that kind of story as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens as the Death Pentagon or the Family of Chaos or whatever they are called continue their reign of terror here in AEW.
We moved on to match number 4 for the evening. Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, taking on Chris Jericho, the Demo God, Le Champion, the man of a million nicknames, and Jake Hager and Floyd the baseball bat. They're working their way up the tag team rankings. Do you think they're going to get all the way to the top, or do you think this plateaus for them when they meet a certain team and that becomes the feud for a while, Inner Circle versus a tag team?
I think eventually, yeah, I was going to get to that when after that you do the blow by blow of this, but the kind of gathering that I got overall of this is it's nice to see Jericho working with the like younger tag teams. You can also do it with tag teams that are not as well known to the audience if they bring up or they do it with like the Hybrid 2 or something like that, just to get more eyes on the teams that aren't as exposed. And then it also is helping Jake Hager. He doesn't have to have a full match on his own this way. He is able to get in there and just do big spots, look big, look strong. When he gets winded, Jericho gets in there. Jericho doesn't have to look too winded either. The two of them, it's a good balance. And I agree. Yeah. I think it's going to be this fast climb. I think going against Private Party and taking them out like levels them right into the middle of the tag division, and now it's just the scaling either up or down from there. So yeah, I'll let you get to the blow by blow of this, but it was certainly a decent and fun matchup from Jericho and the Private Party.
Start off the blow by blow with all of the lyrics to Jericho's theme song.
Of course, you got to sing Judas for a Jericho match.
I did think that Jake Hager looked like he was really fighting the sing-along tonight. Like he almost lifts one up and coming.
How can you not watch? I sing along when I'm at home.
I do as well. I don't know how he fights the fever. He must get it while he's standing there. He must want to just rock out, but he can't, right? But tonight he looked like he was really fighting it. And Tony and JR, I'd pay to see a video of the two of them doing a duet of Judas. I'm not even kidding.
Yes, please. Yes.
We started off with Mark Quinn and Jake Hager in the ring, and Hager just slugs the shit out of him, slugs him down. Quinn manages to tag out, though, gets a drop toe hold from Cassidy. Cassidy is knuckled down by Jericho, though, and Quinn drop kicks Jericho. There's a stereo tope from the Private Party onto the Inner Circle on the outside. Isaiah and Quinn back into the inside. They tag. There's a double suplex on Hager for a 2 count. Mark Knox is the referee for this match, by the way. And Private Party are moving really fast. A lot of fast pace, not just the tags only happen once, but they're moving quickly around the ring and trying to get the Inner Circle, keep one on the outside, one on the inside, and quickly work on that. It doesn't work for long. Jake Hager gets his comeback, tags out to Jericho. He hits ground and pound while Hager holds Mark Quinn's legs down so Quinn can't do anything about it. Gets some chops on Quinn, whip him into the corner and a knockdown. Big back suplex. Puts him up into the corner, gets a tag back to Hager. Big headbutt by Jake. His headbutts look phenomenal, like Andre the Giant style. That fucking hurt headbutt. Puts in a big body shot by Jake Hager. He's really slows down the pace of the match. He picks Quinn up, tosses him into the corner again, but Quinn gets up for a lovely double dropkick off the top rope, tags Cassidy back in. He hits Hager on the way to getting Jericho with a low dropkick on the outside, knocks him off the ring apron. Hits a lion salt then onto a standing Chris Jericho. They both come down, holds him down for a 2 count. Then Hager's got Floyd on the outside, smashes that into Cassidy's knee as he's on the ring apron. That looked like it hurt. Sounded like it hurt too.
Yes.
And now he's stomping while it goes into picture. Chris Jericho and the ref are chatting in the ring while Hager beats the shit out of Isaiah Cassidy on the outside of the ring. You got to do it, I guess, and it's in pick and pick, so you're watching or you maybe don't even get to see it. I'm not sure if it's comedy or silliness, the amount of beating while the chatting continues in the ring. The referee just, blindly continues to talk to Jericho as opposed to, stop that. But yeah, it's in pick and pick. It is what it is. It's a break point, so whatever. Where the hell was I? Jericho, oh yeah, that was the chatting. Y2J stacks up and tosses Floyd, or tosses Quinn into the ring, drags him into the corner for a tag. There's an elbow drop and a pickup. And another Irish whip into the corner. There's a lot of that in this match. It's just power shit by Jake.
Yeah.
Jake jumped up, did his second rope back springing plunge thing, which he actually hit. Usually that's onto somebody's knees.
Yeah.
Hager gets up, some more stomping and domination of Cassidy as he nails him and ties him up in the ropes. Lots of heel cheap shots on the apron behind the referee's back. Picks him up for a standing lariat, puts him into a headlock. The other thing, the picture-in-picture ended, and then he put him in a headlock for the rest hold. Like, no, do that during picture-in-picture, for Christ's sake. Lots of big forearms, though, more headlock. Throws Cassidy into the corner, but Cassidy gets his fight back. He can't get to the tag, though, because Hager prevents the hot tag as he tosses Cassidy across the ring and turns and smashes Quinn so he falls off the apron. Which I always like that setup by the heels. This time, though, it helped the good guys, because Quinn got himself back onto the apron, and he's in the right position as Cassidy's flipped over onto the ropes. He's on Quinn's back. They pull off their silly string maneuver in the thing. It looks a little bit like dancing. Hager helps him an awful lot through the move, right? But it's pretty. So Hager tags. Cassidy gets his hot tag in finally. Quinn drops Y2J, gets a drop kick off onto Hager, puts him down. There's a big flip on the outside and a springing cross body for 2. Y2J is really slowed down. There's a tag back to Isaiah for some reason. Again, moments after the hot tag the guy that's injured and been carrying the match for 5 minutes. This time, though, they played it into the storyline where Isaiah was obviously still injured and still feeling the effects of being hurt. So, bravo, played out properly. They did that Hardy Boys thing in the corner, jumping off his back and sort of wind in the wisp. What did they call that?
Oh, yes.
Hardy Boys shit. Vintage Hardy Boys, Michael Cole. I don't know.
Whisper in the wind or something like that.
Yeah, the foot stomp neck breaker thing for 2. They hit that. That was nice. But Cassidy was too hurt to properly apply the cover. And then there was an oopsie as Hager misses because he runs into the corner to try to sandwich, but the guy got out of the way, so he smashes Y2J instead. Tossed Cassidy up at that point, who gets him with his own Hurricane Rana. Again, it was just total assist from Jake Hager and like, okay, hit me now with it. If you didn't put him there, you didn't do that, but, whatever. Quinn and Hager both flip to the outside. There's a 2 count off of the Rana. Cassidy ducks a Judas effect, gets a surprise roll-up out of nowhere, but just for a 2 count. There's a springboard cutter and a rollout. And then he was trying to go up, and he's holding him back. Cassidy missed the senton, but got caught with a Judas effect, and that was the 3 count. So that was pretty much it for the match. It was just near fall after closeness for Private Party. And then finally, though, at the end of the day, the tough guys toughed it out and got the win.
Yeah.
Then, not bad. Not a bad match. Typical heel face kind of thing. Private Party, much like the Jurassic Express guys, put themselves over in a loss with a brave, plucky effort from the young upstarts. What did you think of the match?
No, for sure. I think in that exact same sense, it was a nice showing for Private Party here, but then again, establishing a new tag team by having Jericho and Hager beat them as well, because Private Party are a ranked team. They have been talked about and highly ranked for a while in AEW. For then Jericho and Hager to come right in and beat them definitely is a statement in the tag division. So that's a good placement story-wise. And then, match-wise, they did really good to sell for Private Party and get them over for their particular moves. And, you really got to see how well little Isaiah Cassidy can sell, because, my gosh, he took a beating in this match.
Yeah.
But no, overall, definitely fun. So we'll see what happens next for Jericho and Hager and the Private Party as the tag team division truckles on. And next up, we got a historic event in the women's division.
Yes, the NWA World Women's Championship defended for the very first time on AEW Dynamite as Thunder Rosa put her strap on the line against Ivelisse. Ivelisse is someone you've seen a lot more of than I have, because she's probably still appeared on Dark more often than she's been on Dynamite. Although that might be catching up now. She's been on a few times.
Yeah, she's definitely more familiar with her from Dark as well as the women's tag team tournament. And before that, like I mentioned before, Lucha Underground, she had a really good
Yeah.
showing when she was on that program. They did a really good job that they didn't have a women's division there. Their women just fought the men, so she got over as a very strong competitor in the same sense as like a Tessa Blanchard. That like she was just ready and game to compete with anybody, and very cool to see her bringing that to AEW here. And this was a yeah, I don't know if they mentioned it at all in the commentary. I was pretty focused trying to catch the match blow by blow style. If they had mentioned whether they had fought before at all, but I would assume probably in AAA or somewhere in Mexico, these two would more than likely have crossed paths, if not maybe just in training. But no, I like their fluidity, and this made for quite a fun matchup.
Yeah, they wouldn't surprise me to hear they worked together before because it definitely looked great.
Yeah.
So, but they wasn't something they mentioned. But yeah, I mean that from their history. Again, Thunder Rosa, she's only been in for 4 or 5 years now.
Well, that's
so,
where that's where I questioned it all of a sudden in my head. I was like, well, maybe if it only happened in the last few years, because Thunder Rosa is fairly new. But man, you wouldn't know it from her experience, the way she shows
no,
it in the ring here, because
she looks like a veteran. Yeah.
yeah, her intensity is fantastic, and it showed right from the beginning. These two, Thunder Rosa hit the ring right after Ivelisse. Displaying her title belt and stuff like that, and Aubrey is instantly having to keep the two women apart from each other. They're starting to shove and sort of square off with each other, and the match kind of leads into that, going for headlocks and wrist locks, fighting each other off, catching each other with particular ones at first, like the I guess even before this too, yeah, they were just kind of squaring off, getting face to face. Ivelisse slapped Thunder Rosa, which like just you could tell was just sort of a, all right, let's get this game kind of started type of thing. They gave it to each other a little bit back and forth there with the slaps, both hitting very different but big arm drags from the ropes. Thunder Rosa's from the top rope, dragging Ivelisse over it, but then reversing later on when Ivelisse was able to do it kind of off the middle of the ropes and then into a arm drag of her own. So some good back and forth from the two of them there. But then the momentum shift definitely came when Thunder Rosa hit Ivelisse with that huge missile drop kick. She just, oh, her drop kicks are just on point. She's just leveled her with that one. Bringing her into the corner for some forearms and running the big forearm and then into the running kick, getting her up for the gory special, you would assume, again, like she was doing to her in the match she had with Sheeta. But this is when you realize that Diamante is on the outside, interferes a little bit to get the distraction as Ivelisse is able to reverse and get out of the gory special here and kind of gain some advantage back for herself at this point. She worked chokehold, some chops, some body shots, went for a pinfall, a couple of those kind of things. We were leading into the commercial picture in picture at this point, so that was kind of their work spot. But the story in that was, just sort of Ivelisse kind of working Thunder Rosa over, and it just really not being enough. But yeah, showing that Thunder Rosa was going to have to kind of pull her confidence back, or her overconfidence back a little bit, and really show that she had some competition on her hands here. As we came back from commercial break, Thunder Rosa was able to break out of the chokehold. Oh yeah, she had her in the chokehold and was like kicking her from the bottom, which was really sweet. Like getting her leg all the way up over the top of the head. Some great flexibility there from her. Yes, I lost myself in my notes here. So the reverse kick from Thunder Rosa, diving elbow into the corner. Once again hitting the big drop kick, going for the 2 count. That's where she seemed to be slowing Ivelisse down a little bit, but she was able to kick out, getting back up, reversing Thunder Rosa into that nice Tiger Driver for her own 2 count. Thunder Rosa then scrambling with her a little bit to get her into the crossface to kind of wear her out a little bit more on the ground. Not quite enough as Ivelisse was able to kind of scramble out of that. She picks her up for a real nasty Death Valley driver after that for another near fall.
I thought that was going to be the finish of the match, to be honest.
Yeah, she hits that Death Valley driver fantastically, and definitely looks like it could totally have been a pretty close finish there. A rolling knee kick from Eva as she kind of her last sort of strives here in this matchup, as Thunder Rosa was certainly getting more of the advantage. She reversed off. Oh yeah. They were kind of going back and forth off the ropes a little bit, and she was able to reverse the kick, get her up for a tombstone, make sure her head was tucked nice and safely as she plopped her down and got the 1-2-3, retaining her NWA Women's title. Awesome to see the title defended here on AEW TV. I thought they had a really good showing here, just enough time to sort of tell a fun match, a strong matchup. And yeah, what did you make of Ivelisse and Thunder Rosa?
Yeah, it was a much more competitive match than I expected to see. I didn't think it was going to be as quick as MJF and the other guy, but I thought it was going to be less than this was. Ivelisse reminds me so much of Lita. I don't know if it's just look. I think it's her style as well. Like, I seem to, yeah, she reminds me of a throwback to Lita back when she was with the Hardy Boys,
Right.
Team Extreme Lita, and then in the years after that against Trish, and kind of evolving her own career. And this, yeah, I think this girl's really good. I was impressed by a lot of the stuff in the ring, impressed by the match. So this maybe now you start to wonder with some of the people that were saying, well, you had this guy, you could have pushed, could have done more with. Maybe they do have more that they could have done more with. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll get to see them now. I mean, again, all credit to AEW. If there were issues, we're dealing with stuff and it's getting fixed. We've seen much more of the women's division in the last month, in not just in the ring, but in the positioning on the card and in the way it's being sold by commentary. I don't feel like Shida in the women's division's an afterthought at all anymore. If I did 2 months ago, I probably could be forgiven for that because there really weren't any on the card.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say they're in an unfortunate situation that their women's division just wasn't able to bolster the way they had wanted it to at first. Then dealing with the pandemic as well as just other unfortunate circumstances with injuries to two of your top people that you were pushing at the time. And yeah, it's just kind of a lot of correcting and recorrecting now, and getting eyes on people like Thunder Rosa I think is great. If they can keep her in the company, she's got great entrance music, she's got the whole look is on point, her in-ring competition is fantastic. So it's just, yeah, it's obviously the next thing that AEW needs to step up. I always try to I'm obviously not just watching AEW. I was watching some Impact the other night, and their women's division is just leaps and bounds above what AEW's is. Like, even if you're just catching it like in a one-off like matchup, like they had Kaylee Ray in AEW. I feel like that was a big missed opportunity. They could have done something huge with her, but again, they're doing what they can to grow in maybe a different way than what other people are doing. And I think, yeah, it's just all about opportunity, and they're allowing these women a pretty decent time slot, a good showcase with that title. More of this, I think, is good. And then the end of the match led to, furthering storyline as well. So I think that's good to keep things moving on, as well as Diamante attacked Thunder Rosa after the match. She was eventually saved by Shida, and as the announcer told us, they are going to end up teaming up next week for Thunder Rosa and Shida taking on the women who won the tag team tournament, Ivelisse and Diamante. So yeah, that should be, just great to see those particular women getting more and more screen time.
Yeah, and I can understand, I suppose, on the one hand, where there's going to be some complaints from people saying it's a shame that you've had to bring an outsider in ostensibly to help launch this.
Right.
And I can get that to a degree, but at the same time, it's the NWA Women's Champion. She's been phenomenal. This hasn't been a part-timer. This isn't Ronda Rousey that you brought in for a few months to bolster everything and really just play everything off her back and then have nowhere to go once that linchpin's gone, right? Yeah. I think this is someone that once Thunder's back on her own touring with the NWA again, once they are touring again, or who knows what the working relationship's going to be, right? Maybe they develop more of a relationship. Maybe they let her do more stuff with him. I'm not upset about it because it's the end result justifies the means by which you get there to me. And this has been great. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's a great addition, and hopefully they can keep her around for some more long-term feuds and matchups. So next kind of segment-wise, we jump to the back and we get a Well, first it was a sort of tease or a recap from last week as the debuting Miro showed up as Kip Sabian's best man, and we get a little clip of the two of them training in the back room.
Yep, he reminds us he's not just Sabian's best man. He is the best man. He's going to steal...
The best man. Now, is that supposed to sound like Rusev Day? Like, is that the...
I guess so.
Is that the choice they're making there? Is that the thing someone said? Like, well, then the fans will chant the best man, and it sounds like Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to
It had to be 3 syllables, right? It had to be something. He's going to steal Penelope. That's where this is ending up. And then Lana's going to say she likes the angle on social media and is going to kill the angle. I don't know why they're bothering with all this jazz. Just let her go out there and beat the shit out of people. I love the way he opened the promo tonight with that intensity, but then brought back down into comedy Russo and smiley face guy. Rusev, Miro. It's a mixture of Miro and Rusev. I'm going to call him Russo now.
Oh, no, please
Sorry.
don't. No, bro. We don't need that, bro. No,
he should have dyed his hair, bro. So, then we got Jake the Snake Roll. Oh, sorry. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on?
I mean, I'm going to say only that, like, I'm going to say as the week went on, I kind of felt it a little polarizing. Some people okay with the debuting of Miro and the way they did it. Other people being like, oh, he should have been, not in this kind of situation. But I enjoy this kind of stuff. I enjoy that, like, there's feuds going on right now, other stories happening, and then you can build anticipation. Seeing him looking all ripped, having that intensity to want to get in the cage made me want to see a Miro match. But you didn't have to have a Miro match last week or on Dark or this week. Like, I can have a build. You can have, like, back in the day when you have the vignettes building somebody up and then eventually they had their match, right? You can have this, tease of him being the best man. You're like, oh, I just want to see him wrestle. And then you will see him wrestle. I don't think they're playing it stupid and just using him to not use him, right? So
no, this is how you're supposed to debut somebody. Like your only other alternative option that I think is viable is to have the first week the sneak attack where you've made it clear who your target is as the new person, because you aggressively have hunted and you seek out and destroy that target at the end of a match or during a match.
Yeah,
that person attacks that guy. And now we as the fans, you're excited because you saw a hot debut and which matchup you're specifically anticipating towards the future. That's one way to do it. The other way, exactly as you said, is like this. You debut someone in this bizarro kind of way where you're either the best man in the wedding, my new buddy, my new manager, whatever your circumstance. And we're going to wait and see who he ends up developing a problem with and a reason to have a match. Right now, I'm a new guy on the roster who wants to be the first one to pick a thing, right?
Yeah.
That makes much more sense on a story, everything. And from what we're watching, I like that. I much prefer this, yeah.
No, for sure. Totally in agreement there. So, yes, we can move on from this little segment into our next segment-wise thing as Lance Archer is headed to the ring. Commentators have been talking all night that we are going to hear from Lance and Jon Moxley tonight as their matchup is coming up at the anniversary edition of Dynamite. But before we get to that, they want to put these two in a 6-man tag match to, kind of, get a little bit of that heat rolling between these two, but not get the full-on matchup. They were going to announce. Preview. Yeah, a special preview, thank you, of their match coming up at the anniversary edition. So they were going to have to announce some tag partners tonight. So first entering the ring was Lance Archer with Jake spouting off some Pink Floyd lyrics before he...
little wish you were here from Jake.
Yes, before he politely calls out Taz to sort of offer up a business partnership, so to speak.
Somewhat politely.
Well, yes.
Or did he somewhat ask him to sleep with him?
I think all of Jake's promos lately have been slightly bisexual, and I don't know how to take it. So
Jack's going back into the bedroom one more time. Roberts was a lot better this week. He was a lot more on point, and the promo was better structured. The whole thing was a lot better. Even Taz was better in his response. Did you nail it though before it happened? Like I've got all the partners written down except for the one guy. I didn't have
except for Will. I couldn't figure out Will either, but it made sense after they had said they officially signed him this week. No.
Okay.
I kind of figured when they said 6-man, I'm like, okay, he'll they're gonna settle the beef for now between Cage and Archer, and get him working with Team Taz to bring in Starks and Archer or Starks and Cage as Archer's partners. Moxley, obviously his only friend in AEW is Darby Allin. He didn't even have to be there to be called into this matchup. And then, I think a real nice place for Will Hobbs as well when we get to there. So,
as soon as he started talking about the Strange Bedfellows, I penciled in Cage and Ricky as the guys. And then when he said Tasmanian Devil, hey, I got it. And Darby Allin then was a natural pencil him in immediately. And then you scratch it like, who's the next guy going to be? Roman? Seth? You bring it? How are you doing this? But it was Will Hobbs instead. But he looked pretty badass with the chair swing and stuff. Took out Cage and Starks pretty good. They sold that well. I thought it was an interesting little.
No, for like a person I'm totally unfamiliar with was brought in on Dark as like a bigger guy or whatever. I'd seen like in some matchups with Archer, with Cage, as well as some other people, looking really fantastic there. I'd say his biggest showing obviously was the buy-in for All Out. He's got a great story, and when they want to push and get behind this guy, he obviously has a good in-ring presence that they want to get behind, and a push like this with the world champion is, just how you strap a rocket to a new guy like this. So great opportunity for him to come out there and save Jon Moxley.
What I did tend to think as well as the promo was going on was that if we're going to get these 6 guys squaring off next week, we know it's leading to our Moxley versus Archer matchup. Where's the agenda for later from this? We know Archer, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. The Taz and Jake Roberts alliance is a very tenuous one at best. I get the feeling that tandem is going to come to a head at the end. By the end of next week's match, they will definitely not be working together anymore, because he ain't going to win the title. And so he's not getting that title shot. And so they've got no reason
either happens,
to
it either the comeuppance is next week, or if by some way
October 14th,
they end up winning, the fact that Archer loses, then that ignites the feud again with Cage. I think it was just a nice way to sort of calm thing to lead it into the next.
What led me to wonder, though, if you're doing the same kind of thing with the Moxley team, does this mean that we can anticipate seeing Darby Allin becoming a number 1 contender, the next man to take on Jon Moxley? I was wondering if it was going to be the third man in until it was said it was Hobbs. I'd be very surprised if he got rocketed into that position this fast. We'll see if he's that good and they can put on a match. I mean, he's a big boy. Maybe they can get maybe they've got good chemistry on it. I don't know.
You never know. No, I see this more as just a way to keep the Archer Moxley feud going without having the two of them have to have a match or 15 matches before you get to the big blow off match. And then you also keep the Cage and Starks and Darby Allin feud going. Like Darby's going after Starks. You're bringing Cage into this as well. Again, if after this it leads to a match or a feud between Hobbs and Cage, I'm okay with that. Big Hoss Godzilla style matchups I'm always totally down for. So I think, there's potential for feuds to ignite from this. I don't necessarily see them in like Darby challenging right now. I think that's down the road. They've already had their match, and that time will come later on, in my opinion. But maybe it'll be this point. But we'll wait and see.
We moved on to the main event of the evening, into the parking lot for the parking lot the parking lot fight. I just made the same fucking mistake Excalibur made all night, except the words weren't on the screen when I did it. But anyway, it's the parking lot fight between Santana and Ortiz and the best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor. What do you I mean? Why would you park here? Why would you park your car when you know it's probably going to get smashed the shit out of? There's a wrestling match going on. Especially Santana Ortiz, they already shown you they don't care about people's property and other people's cars.
Yeah.
I mean, craziness. But anyway, people parked in a circle. These guys got in the middle of it, and they had a big fight. My hand hurts, right? Because sometimes I'm going to say Santana, and I meant Ortiz. Sometimes I'm going to say Ortiz, I meant Santana. And sometimes I'm going to say Chuck when I meant Trent, and Trent when I meant Chuck. Because they're just 4 guys fighting around cars, right?
In a big outside brawl, it's kind of hard to and they were like not with each other all the time either. It wasn't always Santana and Chuck and always.
No, they did deliberate switches to screw guys like me up, trying to fucking write it down and watch it at the same time. So we start off the match with Proud and Powerful driven into cars fast way. It's just a big brawl. Great use of a side mirror though, is by I think it was Santana that got his head hit into it first. Ortiz gets slammed into the hood of the car as Chuck goes up onto the top, hits a big senton.
You didn't mention their face paint.
What's that?
You didn't mention their awesome dead president's face paint.
Oh, yeah, they look like the dead presidents. That's right. Yeah, they did have cool face paint. Well, and then the first time I looked up and saw Trent, I thought, like, wait, did they do it as well? So I had to take a look and see quick. And I thought at first they were doing the Insane Clown Posse. I didn't think it was dead presidents. So it wasn't until they said on commentary, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Fair enough. Not much of a movie buff.
No, I like the ICP way more than that film. Sorry.
Oh, God. What? I think this is our last podcast.
You're not down with the clowns?
Fuck no.
Oh.
Fuck you.
We got to talk.
Balls.
We got to talk.
Oh, my God. Drink your fuego and fuck off. ICP is the worst fucking
I know
band
you're
ever.
mad right now, so I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
ICP sucks. ICP sucks. ICP sucks. Oh, what were you talking about? Something? Because ICP sucks. Anyway, continue.
Trent goes up. He goes for the same, hits the senton onto the hood. They get the stuff off of the back of the flatbed truck to build a table, bridge style, over the back of the flatbed truck. Ortiz and Trent have paired off, but Santana has the tire iron, so he starts bashing back. That's his big comeback. Hits the tire iron into both of the boys. He nails a monkey flip, I think it was onto Trent, onto the underside of the flatbed's back that was down, which puts it back up. That looked nice.
Yeah.
Smashed the windshield with a thrown sledgehammer that could have killed Chuck if it had hit him.
Yes.
Taylor slams Ortiz down into the cars. Ortiz suplexes Taylor onto a car. Santana hits him with a splash from the one hood onto the top of the other, gets a 2 count. Ortiz hits Trent with the baton, avoids a power bomb, and spears Ortiz through the table that he had set up in the ramp position there against the car hood. Santana slams Clark's head into the hood of a car. There's a big shot by Santana onto Taylor. Trent throws a door onto Ortiz because there was a door in the back of the flatbed as well. He didn't just park and leave his truck there. He left all his building materials there for the day. And then they got destroyed. So not only does he not have a truck to go to work anymore, that guy lost all his shit for his work that he's got to do.
Yeah, he lost his dustpan. He lost his 2x8s.
Hope you enjoyed your night at Dynamite, buddy. Hope it was worth it. Ortiz avoids a swinging DDT and hits Chuck with a massive dustpan. Chuck goes around and gets a guardrail and sets that up like a ramp against a car hood. Ortiz tries to suplex him, but it gets reversed. Chuck puts Ortiz through that guardrail with a suplex, which is an unusual spin on that. Usually you expect the guy who sets up the weapon thing to go through the table, but
not if it's a guardrail, I guess.
Ortiz must trust him. Santana smashes the 2x4 on Trent. Lots of 2x4s were hurt in the making of this match. It was a real slugfest brawl. This is when Ortiz actually called out for a switch. It's like something out of a porn movie. My turn with him, your turn with him. So Trent goes to Ortiz, gets him up on the car, but Ortiz gets him with a low blow. Power bombs Trent onto the car by Ortiz. Santana leaves Chuck behind. He comes over as well. They double power bomb Trent through the windshield, back onto it. Looked like, I mean, he took it perfect. His head hit just in the right spot. His back crashes it.
Yeah, the only one not wearing a shirt in this match, too, to take that bump. Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, to show it off effectively, you want to not have the shirt on, right?
That's true, yeah. You saw why he was the only one not wearing a shirt to take that bump, yeah.
Chuck goes and gets the baton. He's choking out Santana with it until Ortiz saves him. Chuck gets the 2x4, smashing Ortiz with it. Santana hits a back body drop onto Chuck onto the blue bins that are up on the side. Trent comes back. He hit Trent's back. Fuck that, because it was the one 2x4 shot that he got. Just looked like it was just terrible. Ortiz again with it. Shit. Yeah. Santana is beating the shit out of Chuck at the same point. He gets the big lead pipe out. Santana has that, and he's just getting ready to attack with the giant lead pipe and probably kill somebody when out of the trunk, the superhero of the best friends, Orange Cassidy, pops out. He got a chain wrapped around his wrist. He nails an orange punch on Santana with his chained fist. Picks him up onto his shoulders, delivers him over to Taylor. Picks him up with a pile driver onto the hood of the car, it wasn't a pile driver, a crunchy, I think he calls it. His back to front reverse pile driver move.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right through the plywood on the back of the pickup truck. At the same time, oh no, sorry, that was backwards. Taylor did hit the pile driver. It was Trent that hit his crunchy pile driver on Ortiz in the back of the flatbed and then that was the 3 count. And then the trio hopped into Sue's new minivan. Sue flips off proud and powerful, and we closed the show as they left the arena happily ever after. We don't need your stinking apology. We've got a new minivan.
We got it in blood, and we've got ourselves a new minivan. Yes, I think. Well, I mean, this was a fun backstage brawl. They had tons of big moments. I liked when he had Ortiz in the hood, underneath the hood, and then they both took turns doing sentons onto the hood to squish him inside the engine. Like, that was nasty. And I think the face paint looked great. Made them just look a little more sinister.
What, the ICP face paint? You like that?
God, no, because it was dead presidents, boy. Fuck the ICP. Oh my God. But anyway, back to this match. It was very fun and a good blow off too. I think Ortiz and Santana looked really, really strong through a lot of it. There was moments where you thought maybe the best friends, especially when Trent took that window spot, you were like, man, are they never going to quite be able to get any comeuppance for good old Sue? But no, yes. They were eventually able to get the comeuppance there in the end, and a nice way to end this feud and end this night of matches too. After, in hindsight, when you look back on a lot of the other stuff, this was the better thing to main event because you don't necessarily see this story progressing. This is kind of the end of that, whereas everything else has been the build to all those kind of things. So.
Oh, for sure. It was, and something different to close it rather than something different in the middle. Yeah. Take your pick, right? I mean, yeah, for the participants in it, for the storyline, for the fact it was a blow up, sure, close the show with it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't as into it as JR and Shivani were selling it, but I definitely thought it was a well-paced match, and it wasn't too stupidly overbooked for a backstage brawl. That kind of environment match can usually get a lot weirder. The last parking lot brawl that I can remember in a pay-per-view setting was the NXT Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole match.
Right, yeah.
And I thought that had a lot more strange moments with more guys crawling out from under rings and out of hoods of cars and out of trunks and oddities with the cars and other strange moves and camera shots that this one didn't bore us with, frankly. I thought
this was great to keep it
match.
Centralized just within the cars, having the commentary put it over, talking about it like as if it was just a brawl or a fight happening to end the night, to end this feud. So great episode of Dynamite, and I think that about wraps things up for the blow by blow of this episode. I think we'll be anything else to
just that next week we had the 6-man tag we knew about, but Brody Lee defending the TNT title against
Orange Cassidy.
That's right. Yes. They are.
Yes. Yeah. Big announcement there. And then also we had mentioned, Shida teaming with Thunder Rosa to take on Ivelisse and Diamante. We're also going to get Chris Jericho on the mic in some form or another.
Hopefully sings Judas.
Maybe. So another star-studded AEW, and we'll be back for another blow-by-blow of that next week. And Chris, let everyone know where they can hear us in the meantime.
If you are lucky enough to live in Ontario, Canada, you can listen to us on 88.7 The River FM on a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. If not, you can catch that online, 887theriver.ca, under the archives, and you can listen to any of the weeks then. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be this week. It could be last week. This show, you can check it out on Sounder, and it goes out from Sounder to lots of other webcasty things.
Yes. And here on YouTube, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, get into the comments, ring the little bell to be notified when our new videos go up. And we'll be back for more blow by blows next week and next time here on Low Blow Radio Podcast.
Fuck the world.
Fuck ICP.